Welcome, everyone, to this completely unnecessary podcast for March 3rd, Tuesday, 2020. That's Ian Ferguson.
That's me.
I almost said just Ian Fur.
Ian Ferg.
I'm Pat Contry. We got a fun show lined up for you today. We're talking about the Mini NT making a comeback, Dead or Alive, hair color DLC. Story about the NES creator, talking about the design of the system, Nintendo doing a good deed, a couple of Q&A, Patreon poll. First, we got a t-shirt that's limited.
It is.
Go to ultimatenintendo.com to check that out. We also have enamel pins. We also have the not for resale Blu-ray and digital download available there as well, or notforresalemovie.com. It redirects to the same site there. And before we get into PAX East, where Not For Resale had a showing, Ian, how was your weekend?
It was good.
You cooked some soup?
I did. I made cream of chicken with mushroom, or cream of mushroom with chicken.
Cream of chicken?
Cream of mushroom with chicken. And then yesterday I made curried red lentil soup with spinach. That was really good.
So did you bring me a Tupperware so I can try it?
I did not. Maybe next time. I got something in my eye. It's awful.
It's called
guilt. Yeah, it's the guilt. It's the guilt.
It's the guilt for not feeding Pat.
And then I played a lot of Doom.
A lot of Doom. You wrote about it on the Patreon.
I did.
Patreon.com/CUpodcast. That's what. See, you miss out by not subscribing to the Patreon.
Yeah.
Ian has a bunch of writings that he can bundle into a book if he wants to.
Oof.
That'd be interesting. No,
I don't think so. I'd have to do some serious editing on those.
You put yourself down. I mean, you still don't use Grammarly like I like, but you write a nice little prose.
I do use Grammarly.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still correcting stuff.
Well, Grammarly's not perfect then, is it?
But I use Grammarly to just get the correction. Anyway, that's all you did.
Yeah, that's basically it. I worked this weekend. I usually don't work on the weekends, but I worked Saturday and Sunday. We were redoing all the inventories.
For the weekend. I was at PAX East.
Yeah. How was that?
In scenic, historic, cold as fuck Boston.
Chilly Boston.
You know, they usually, I go every 2 years. The third time, so I've gone 3 times in 4 years, every other year. And 16, 18, 20. Because I had the Not For Resale movie was screened Friday night. And it was a good show. It was about 120 people.
Nice.
It was fun. A couple of tech errors, but it turned out fine. And I was at the Screenway booth selling some Blu-rays and some books there. And they usually used to have it like late March, early April. The difference between that and early March is 15 degrees.
Like a lion, out like a lamb, they used to say about March.
So, did they, Ian?
Yes, they did.
So, it was on Saturday night, it was about 20 degrees. I think without the wind chill. It was like 20 degrees.
Nice.
And you get the nice brisk wind off the harbor right there, because where PAX East is, it's surrounded by water and the little kind of like a peninsula right there. So it's that was kind of harsh. So I stocked up on the airborne elderberry gummies beforehand for my immune system. Plus, you had the potential of diseases always with conflu, but now with the coronavirus semi-pandemic that's potentially going to sweep the world. People were on guard more, so it was the most amount of antibacterial and Clorox wipes I've ever seen. Antibacterial, though, doesn't stop a virus. I think the Clorox wipes actually do, if you have a Clorox wipe. So it was interesting that you actually had workers there, like with the escalator, literally having Clorox wipes and letting the handrail from the escalator run over it, like they were actually cleaning the stuff. I don't touch handrails on escalators ever anyway, but people were more on guard. Even little kids were going up and getting antibacterial. So if there's a really small silver linings that people from the coronavirus, that people were actually being more careful about, sanitation and cleanliness and not sneezing on people. The one time I had to sneeze, I dug it into the armpit of my sweatshirt. So make sure that stuff's going to be in there and that's it. And there were people still shaking hands here and there, but there was a lot more fist bumps and
From what I heard, the coronavirus is extremely susceptible to good old-fashioned hand washing. So, as long as you keep up,
it's susceptible to, or you mean it wipes it out?
Yeah, it's very weak against just good old-fashioned soap and water.
Wash your hands. But I saw a poll on Twitter last week that it was only 60% of women wash their hands after the bathroom, and only a third
32%
of men, because men are fucking pigs apparently. Clean your goddamn hands.
Now you know why I'm so worried about that.
I don't care if you
About
go
someone following me out of the bathroom and yelling he doesn't wash his hands. I wash my hands. I'm one of the third.
I don't care if you go the weird Ian route and don't do water before the soap.
Soap first.
Or do water and then soap like most of us smart people do. Use soap and water. For God's sake. It's not that hard. And don't piss on the freaking rim of the freaking toilet bowl still. It's 2020. Can we stop that? Use a urinal or tip up with your foot the fucking seat on the toilet bowl.
That's what shoes are for.
That's what your shoes are filthy enough. It doesn't matter. Get some uric acid on there. You know, it might clean it off a little bit. But I don't want that on my ass when I sit down. That's the worst feeling in the world. When you forget to check.
Oh, getting a little ice cold piss right on the old cheeks.
No, it's lukewarm usually. Still, it's a little lukewarm. The old cheekaroos.
The old cheekaroos.
It's like, oh great. What do I have a communicable disease
Capillary
now?
action carrying that right up the old butthole.
I don't know how you're grinding on the seat there, Ian. No, actually, the very, very worst is when you're...
My butt is actually made of just porous fabric.
No, actually...
like a coffee filter. I'm thinking back to like 6th grade science now. Capillary action, using a little Kool-Aid.
With piss?
Yeah, well, not with piss.
Oh, did you have like little experiments in class? We never had experiments in class.
No?
No, we never did that. We had like the rubber band little race cars, which are bullshit. Oh, you learned about physics.
Did you ever have to do the one where you had... I was thinking about this one the other day because it was a lot of fun. Did you ever have to do the one where you had to make the little protective thing for the egg and then you dropped it off a ladder?
Yeah, we did that stupid thing.
I love that. That was fun.
No, we did that, I think.
Yeah, build a little safety cage out of straws.
Did we safety cage out of straws?
Yeah, basically what you're doing. You got to keep the egg safe. So
you're not allowed to use just like bubble wrap or anything.
No. It's like here's some fucking straws.
Here's some straw. No, we didn't do that then. We never did the volcano either. The famous volcano. We never did the Mr. Wizard volcano. Rest in peace, Mr. Wizard. You were very, very fun, Nickelodeon.
When did he die?
Died like 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Poor Mr. Wizard. What was I going to say? Shit, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. No, actually, the worst is in a public. The very worst in a public bathroom is when you're sitting, and then somehow it sets off the auto flush, and then you have a bidet at that point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's always fun.
And you feel that little tug on the empty space, like gravity's really working there. Like when that hardcore flush goes, you feel that little pull.
Oh no, I usually hear the first, and I semi stand up. Either way, public bathrooms are nuts.
It's like the toilet is trying to munch your ass.
I don't think I've had that happen.
Mr. Wizard lived to be 90 years old.
What year did he die?
2007.
Okay, so I thought, okay, good old Mr. He was doing stuff on TV back in the 60s.
Actually, he died 1 month shy of being 90. He was 89.
That's a good run.
Yeah, it is. It's a good run.
He was on TV, I read, like in the 50s and 60s. He was doing stuff.
Yeah, well, he was born July 10th, 1917, so.
That was my grandfather's birth year, 17.
Oh, birth year. I thought you were going to say birthday, and I was like, whoa.
No, that would have been nuts. No, my grandfather was January.
Could you tell me Mr. Wizard's name?
No. Was it Mark? What was his name?
Don.
That's a good name.
That's a solid 1917's name.
I was going to say
Don Herbert.
There's not a lot of Dons out there. I don't even met a Don in my life. Donald? Don? Yeah, that's an old school name. So anyway, PAX East, Ian.
Yeah.
So it was nice to. It was weird not having Sony there because they had to like shove everything else together to make up that space there. So it's like it was like that episode of.
Can you hand me one of those? Give me one of these.
You want to open one up?
We're gonna open one. They've been fucking sitting here for like a year and a half.
I have 3 of them. So you ever see that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer paints over the lines in the highway to make the extra large lanes in the highway?
I'm not a big Seinfeld fan.
Well, there were extra large walking lanes because there was Sony was not there, so it seemed very spacious. PAX East.
That's actually pretty great.
Yeah. Yes. And then I had a lot of fun there. Screening went well. I caught up with the Retromania game, which we talked about on the podcast last year.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's a sequel to WrestleFest. They actually had the Technos go ahead to use their name on there. Is it Ghost? Pink Ghost?
Yeah.
Is that Pinky? Yeah, Pinky. It's pink.
Oh, that's a neat little feeling.
Don't ruin my pinky.
Whoa. Whap, whap. Meep, meep.
It comes with stickers? Sorry. It's like a show and tell old school podcasting. So other than that, shout out to Dom at Sudden Impact Gaming for picking up some books that he's in Massachusetts in Sudden Impact Retro Video Game Store in Winthrop, Mass. So pick up some books from Dom there. He always buys books from me all the time. He's like, you gonna sign them? I'm like, yeah, I'll sign them, Dom. He gets very not Don, Dom. That's another old school name. No Doms. You know any Doms? Old school Italian name?
Yeah, I know
Dominus?
some Doms.
I don't know any Doms. Anyway. All right, stop playing with my pink.
It's nice.
Pinky. There.
I'll stop playing with your fucking pink.
There.
Smells like Nickelodeon.
So while it smells like slime. So while at PAX East, literally, it was Saturday during the day, and they announced that GDC was going to be canceled.
Yes.
And GDC was coming up in a couple of weeks only. So that's obviously a huge blow to a lot of people. A lot of indie game developers. We were going to show Not For Resale was going to be part of their film festival there. Some of our friends, people know, like Limited Run was going to go out there to do meetings there. So GDC is pretty huge.
Everyone goes to GDC, especially everyone. I mean, Game Developers Conference. Anyone who's actually in game dev generally goes. It's very expensive. It's one of those things that's really kind of pushed as important. It's important for you to go if you're a game dev, and it's not cheap at all.
Tickets aren't cheap.
There's different, tier prices depending on how many of like the workshops and the panels you want to go to. And I think like a full all access pass is, close. It hovers around the $2,000 mark.
Really?
Yes, it's very expensive. Ooh. Very, very expensive. And a lot of game devs, I feel bad, put a lot of money into this because this is where you go to make connections, meet and greet, potentially get a publisher,
publisher.
Meet up with other people, and it's very important and Network. It's very expensive. So it's a huge bummer for a lot of these folks that, this is potentially money now wasted. GDC has said that they will be refunding anyone who purchased a ticket. And if you got a hotel that was in one of the GDC hotel blocks, you'll be able to cancel without penalty, which is great.
Usually, if any hotel, you'll be able to get a refund up to like 48 hours before. Usually,
but depending on the people who, I saw that there were some people who weren't in those blocks who aren't going to be able to get refunds, or travel isn't necessarily going to be refunded. So there's a lot of people who are looking to be out some money here, and I hope that doesn't kill any of these developers, and it probably won't, but still it's a problem.
Airlines usually, even if you don't get the insurance, are usually cool if something like this would happen. They'll give you at least a credit. I have a
feeling that people are going to be more likely to
you just got to call them and they'll do it. You can't do it online usually. Just give the airline a call if you're one of the people listening that was planning to go, and you should get at least a credit back on that. But there was a fund set up just in case, right? There was a fund set up for people, groups organized to raise funds for developers. They set up a fund, the GDC Relief Fund, for collaboration between several game companies and other groups raising money for independent developers planning to attend GDC. So if you're out of luck, maybe there's a way there. The Relief Fund has raised at least $76,000. Who receives the money will be determined according to the estimated impact of the postponement on their organizations and the financial hardship they are experiencing. So I'm guessing there'll be like some sort of weird little board of directors that decides where the money goes out to.
Yeah,
it's a mess though, because think about it, if you have a game that you were set to come out with, and you were set to maybe, you don't know what can happen to GC. You can score a publisher, you can network and find someone to help you get a publisher, or make sure your game comes out in a certain territory. You know what I mean? Like that's like, the heartbeat of it. And now you got to, right, if it's postponed like they want to, you can set your whole life back, obviously.
Well, and how many, not everyone is going to reschedule for later this summer.
Yeah.
GDC is, it's strategically positioned to, for where it is in terms of its relation to things like E3, which are becoming less important.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see if this has any repercussions down the line, vibrations, if games are going to be delayed because of this, etc. I can see a lot of indie games that were perhaps hoping to be out this year having to be postponed, but who knows?
Yeah, hopefully worst case scenario, it'll just push everything back a few months to whenever GDC is going to reschedule. I mean, with this coronavirus, when it gets warmer, it probably won't propagate as much. It'll be dying off for the season, like other sort of flu strains, die off once it gets warm. But yeah, it's interesting. I thought about what if PAX East was early April, like it was past years, would they have canceled? Maybe it got in just under the wire.
Sure.
But being that PAX East was also a huge trade show, I think people would have went no matter what. Even though Sony pulled out, there's a lot of companies that would be like, no, we have to do this. And PAX East, it's so much money that gets made. Obviously, GDC makes money as well, but yeah, there's 100,000 people, over 100,000 people go to PAX East. It would ruin the city to like cancel that.
What would Don Herbert do?
Good old Mr. Wizard. Not enough. Mr. Wizard. Is there like a T-shirt I can buy from Mr. Wizard? Oh, this is almost shilling it. I don't care though, because the I Am 8-Bit booth had an official Mr. Gimmick shirt and soundtrack. Oh, really? It's not on the website yet, and I forgot to buy it on Sunday.
Ooh, the soundtrack would be good. They do good soundtracks.
The soundtrack, it had the unused Mysterious Something of Death, like the best song that wasn't used in the game. It also had a couple other tracks I didn't recognize. That maybe they said, basically, I asked them, I said it was whatever Sunsoft or whoever owns the rights, whatever they gave us. Sure. What they had there. But the T-shirt looked cute. It was kind of a reddish, dark auburn. Is auburn reddish? Yeah. Was it? And red clashes with my skin. I don't wear red shirts, but being that it's an official gimmick. Well, I mean, I made a Mr. Gimmick shirt. Didn't I buy? No, I bought one online. I have one. That's right, I do, but it wasn't official, I don't think.
No, I thought that was one that someone gave you.
Someone gave me that one? Okay.
I thought that was one that
I bought it.
Listener Chris every once in a while has given us really cool game shirts. I thought that was one of the ones he gave you.
Well, was that licensed, you think, at the time?
Probably not.
That was like 5 years ago. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to get it. It was a nice design. So anyway, I'll probably have to pick that up there. As well. I also at PAX East, I had a meeting for a potential project in the works, maybe.
Rich auburn has a higher amount of red pigments than your usual dark brown. Therefore, the color appears more like a dark red than a dark brown, which enforces a mysterious and sophisticated flair. I wasn't expecting that last part there.
Yeah, it was auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a burnt red, not a burnt orange. I like burnt orange too.
What about burnt umber?
I don't know what that looks like.
It was a Crayola color.
In the 64 pack?
Yeah.
Anyway, real quick, we have an update on the video game store heist last year we talked about on the podcast. Out in Missouri last year. Trading Games. Where it was like $70,000 worth of games were stolen. This was revealed. I didn't know this in the article. $17,000 in silver and $10,000 in cash. And a handgun.
This fucker looks like a gross boy who would do the crimes.
Well, they arrested a 46-year-old man, St. Louis man, in jail for allegedly. He's in jail for stealing tens of thousands of dollars worth of rare video games, as well as silver and cash from the Fenton area store. There, we covered this last year. It was like an air raid, right? It was it was stuff that was created by WADA that was there. It was like some hard to find Atari stuff in the box. I think it was like I think it was a couple prototypes. I'm not positive. I forget. But they got the guy. That's the good news. Hopefully they could, hopefully they seize this stuff. Because again, it was a lot of weird stuff that would be hard to pawn off without, people realize, oh, this is from the heist.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was very specific items there. So what's his name here? Damon Jackson, charged him with second-degree burglary, stealing, and 2 counts of stealing. Remains in custody at the Jefferson County Jail on a $500,000 bond there. So,
you think McGruff was the arresting officer?
McGruff? Does he deal with stealing stuff, McGruff?
I don't know. Maybe. The war on drugs is dying down, so.
Yeah,
McGruff just takes a bite out of crime. He's not just drugs. He takes bites out of crime.
Is McGruff Dog still around?
Yeah. McGruff is still around. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Did you know that you can't buy a McGruff costume unless you're part of law enforcement?
I agree with that.
McGruff the Crime Dog.
I agree with that. You can't willy-nilly just dress up as McGruff and ruin the IP,
McGruffstuff.com. That's an actual website. McGruff the Crime Dog costume. $1,790 for this costume.
Wow.
The head is $1,490 of it. They're trying to get $85 for those fucking pants. It's ridiculous.
What about what the hell is Smokey the Bear? Obviously still around, right?
Yeah.
What about the owl? What the hell was the owl?
Woodsy Owl.
Woodsy Owl.
Woodsy Owl. Did you know that McGruff has a kid, or there's at least a young version?
I do remember
McGruff?
that in the 90s.
That's right, Scruff McGruff.
Great name. I do remember that in the 90s. They try to freshen up the image.
Well, holy shit! You can get an animated McGruff costume for $3,790.
What do you mean? Like it actually moves the eyes?
The head moves. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the animated one. I found it. This was the one I'd seen. This is the one that has the note for sale to recognized law enforcement. Don't ask why I'm looking up McGruff costume.
You want to derail the podcast? That's fine. It's just more editing for Pat. That's all.
Leave it in. This is what people listen to podcasts for. For sale to recognized law enforcement organizations only. Does not qualify for any promotion or discount. I wonder if like transit cops can buy this.
Huh. McGruff came out in July 1980. Wow, I knew it was 80s. I know it was that far back.
Yeah.
Species, bloodhound. Gender, male. Family, scruff, nephew.
McGruff comes with a spare battery.
Hey, he worked out, right? Because the 70s were bad for crime. 60s, he might have taken a bite out of crime. Things got better the past 30 years when it came to crime. 30, 40 years.
Can I just get a talking McGruff cod piece?
Is there? Can I buy a plush? You got a plushie going on? I did ask the I Am 8-Bit people about where's the gimmick plush, and the nice lady was like, yeah, that'd be cute. I'm like, yes, like you would sell a bunch
Pat,
of them.
are you harassing people?
No, I'm not harassing people. Don't try to get me kicked out of PAX East. I just want a plush Mr. Gimmick doll. He's a plush doll. So you want to get a plush of the plush character, right?
You can totally get plush McGruffs.
You can get plush McGruff.
$17.95 from McGruffstuff.com.
Does it go to like a police organization or a anti-crime?
I hope not.
Organization? What do you mean you hope not?
I hope it goes to the people who made it. McGruff plush, $17.95. The more you buy, the more you save.
It was created by Dancer Fitzgerald Sample. Is that a name? Real name? And the ad cancel.
So if you buy 11 to 24, you can get these for $15.95 each per unit. If you buy one, it's $17.95. If you want
a wholesale?
If you want to buy 25 plus, you got to call them for pricing.
Well, you want to wholesale and sell them at Luna Video Games, 2 locations?
Let's get 100 of these bad boys.
You want to
Let's get 100
I haven't
of these
seen a
bad
commercial
boys.
on TV in forever.
That's going to be my gimmick at SoCal Retro, SoCal Gaming
If you
Expo.
know a user even part of the time, tell him to quit. Take a bite out of crime.
I'm going to sell
Users
McGruff
are
plush
losers,
dolls.
and losers are users, so don't use drugs. That's the only thing I remember from the song about the anti-drug one.
You can get a Scruff beanbag doll for $5.95.
Okay, Ian,
Anyways.
that's great. All right, so one last thing before we jump into the real podcast, the main meat is that
The main meat.
I haven't talked about the Ultimate NES Game Guide app in a long time. Finally, Ian, I could talk about that. It's been updated on iOS and Android devices. Go to droid.ultimatenes.com or ios.ultimatenes.com on your phone. It'll redirect to the store. It had to be rebuilt from scratch because the old developer will just say
From the ground up.
the old developer will just say fuck Pat in the ass. I can't put it any nicer than that. I'm gonna abandon the project. And so I had to hire someone.
He put it in your butt.
Yes.
He fucked up and put it in your butt.
So I had to spend a few grand to redo the app from scratch in order to get it, updating, getting the things in that I wanted to. And then, so it wasn't a good time. I had a bad time there. So you might have to delete your old app to install the new one to have a clean install. And then on Android devices, you don't have to delete. In Android devices, there's a cache you have to clear for your app data. But the good news is that now on the app, it goes to the cloud, and so your collection will be safe now in the future. You have to re-input it though if you're starting, with the new app. But you'll be able to access it from multiple devices. If you delete or lose your phone and do a new phone, your collection will be saved going forward. And there's now new features that weren't in the old app. So please give it a shot. If it was broken for you in the past, my apologies. But my old developer, abandoned the project.
Fucked up. Put it in your butt.
But I try to make it right. And again, delete your old app before a fresh install if you have any issues, and delete your old app on Android and clear your cache data if you have any issues with the Android version there. And give it a positive review if it's to your liking there. because it got a lot of bad reviews because it wasn't getting updated, and especially on Android phones, if you don't update your app on Android phones, like that shit like has a shelf life of like of milk. That's how quickly apps fall out of.
So a couple of years. Milk's great.
No, Ian, the whole point is that like within a few months you got to update your apps, and if not an Android,
it won't even
it stops
up.
working on your older devices because there's like hundreds of different platforms and and phones for Android. So yeah, Ian, it was a fun ride, huh? We'll still tell the Portland story sometime, maybe, huh? That was a fun time.
Sure, that was good.
That was a good. Ian was there for that, the airport. That was good. All right.